Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Maximilian College Basketball Picks and Analysis for Saturday, February 14th. I'm your host, Max Hofmeyer, and I've got three matchups to go over for today. But first, as always, let's recap last episode, which was on Thursday. We had Middle Tennessee, got a nice outright win there. Nice to see them bounce back after a losing skid. See the analysis working there. And UC Davis did not quite get as lucky there. UC Davis, once again, they dominated the possession battle in that UC San Diego game. We had them expected winning outright. I think they were like plus about 12 or so in the shot battle, just couldn't make anything. That happens sometimes. Shots just don't go in. But yeah, we're doing pretty good so far. 40-31, hard to complain about that. But yeah, so let's go ahead and keep that going and roll into Saturday's mega slate. We're going to keep it a little bit of the same as last Saturday. Marquee matchups only-ish. The last one isn't as marquee, but yeah, last Saturday I thought it was fun, just hitting on some of the big games. So we're going to go ahead and roll that into this episode and start with one of the best games of the day. It doesn't get much better than this. For game number one, massive Big 12 matchup here. Iowa State and Kansas. The Cyclones are laying 6.5 here at home. Kansas off one of the biggest wins of the season, not just for them, but in all of college basketball, knocking off Arizona and dishing them their first loss. So only Miami, Ohio stands by themselves as undefeated, and that will obviously continue as they won tonight, this Friday episode, of beating Ohio. So that was fun. The key was, though, that game was at Allen Fieldhouse, and if you were watching the calls, obviously sometimes they go Kansas' way there, and that team just never loses at home. With Darren Peterson, without Darren Peterson, it does not matter. Kansas and Bill Self, they do what they do best. They win at home, especially on big Mondays. So the question is, it did take a full-out effort. And, how much do you have in the tank, going on the road here? And, the spot's even better because Iowa State, they are off a loss at TCU. And TCU is kind of they're the Wisconsin of the Big 12 here, as, tonight Wisconsin beats Michigan State. Them and TCU, you do not want to be a high-ranked team playing TCU or Wisconsin. They've knocked off a lot of big opponents here this year. I think we may have forgotten a little bit about this Iowa State team. They did start 16-0. They have a top 5 defense. They were a top 10 offense until that last game. They did drop down a little bit. I think this is a remind the people that, Iowa State still a very dominant team. Great spot here. Kansas might just be out of gas. Kansas, they're also a team that's had some record luck here. They're 19-5 overall, but shot quality, we only expect them to be closer to a 12-12 team. Which, do I think Kansas should be 500? Not necessarily, but I think it is somewhere in between. So Peterson, no Darren Peterson, I really don't care. I think this is a great spot to take Iowa State. So for play number one, I am going to take the Cyclones here minus 6.5. And for play number two, let's head to the Big Ten. Another marquee matchup here as Iowa hosting Purdue, and they're +2 at home versus the Boilermakers. Iowa had their first true bad loss, I would say, of the season at Maryland. But, obviously shot quality, we did not agree with that result. We had Iowa winning that game by 15. Purdue, on the other hand, off a big road win versus Nebraska. But they did try to do everything to blow that game. They didn't really sell me at the end. And even before that game, Purdue went in to that Nebraska win as, they were kind of struggling. They lost 3 straight games. Then, they blew out Maryland. And then they barely beat Oregon. And then the Nebraska debacle there at the end. This should be a great game. 2 of the most high usage guards and Braden Smith and Bennett Sturts. These teams already faced off once. Purdue won at home. I do think Iowa gets revenge here. I think it's a great spot. not only to bounce back off that first game, but to bounce back off the Maryland loss. So I'm going to go ahead and take Iowa for play number 2, +2 at home. Go ahead and take the home dog. And for the final play, not as marquee matchup as the other two, but another Big Ten game here, as the Ducks are laying 6.5 at home versus Penn State. This game, like the others that we've played thus far, is a favorable spot. I tweeted this one out earlier, but I've had a ton of spots circled for today, and this one's no different. Penn State, not a great Big Ten team, obviously, but they did end up getting a road win across the country at Washington by 3 points. But, as to no surprise, shot quality. We expected Washington winning that game by 19. So Penn State really had a lucky win in that one. Now, that was only Penn State's second conference win, and they have to stay on the West Coast here for another road game and play, a Oregon team that's very desperate. Oregon 1-12 in the Big Ten, but they did recently. They were pretty injured in that 1-12 run. They did just get back Nate Biddle, and they are about 11 points better per 100 possessions with Biddle on the floor. And in fact, in that first game, they really had a chance to upset Purdue at Mackey. You might see this line and you're like, how is a 1-12 Big Ten team laying 6.5 points? But they are laying it for a reason. I think it's a great spot here to back the Ducks. So I am going to go ahead and take Oregon minus the 6.5 for our final play. And that will do it for today's episode. Thanks for watching, and go ahead and like and subscribe so you don't miss any future episodes. And best of luck on the plays, and enjoy your Saturday mega slate.